Hello everyone, I'm Garen Chamiar, and welcome to the Quiver, a series where I talk about channel news or anything I feel like talking about. I guess this counts as a channel update or channel news section, but I am using a texture pack now. I think it looks better. It makes everything look, I guess, more pleasing, I guess. I like it. It's the Full of Life texture pack that I'm using on Pixelmon Infinity, and I figured that it would do for over here. But the topic I wanted to talk about today is Fallout 76 and my impressions on some of the gameplay that I saw. I wish to keep this brief because I don't want to make these episodes too long, but from what I saw, the gameplay was amazing, and it got me excited. And people did address complaints and worries that they had from the gameplay, and one such was, since there are no NPCs, the quests are going to be boring, and they're worried that it's going to stay like that. That it's going to be boring. After a while, you're going to have nothing to do, and it's just going to be a dead game after a while. And those are very valid complaints and very valid worries, but they are forgetting one thing. Well, I guess not really forgetting, but they're not taking into account these people. This game they're making, they told us a bunch of times that they do plan on making updates for this and trying to fix what we believe is wrong. And maybe for some DLC, maybe they decide that, you know what? The base game has no NPCs, but that doesn't mean we're limited to have no NPCs for a DLC. They aren't limited. That is the great thing about this game. They've built a foundation, and whatever they decide to build upon that foundation is their choice, because they've built a good enough foundation for it now where anything can be possible. And so, pretty much, if this ain't your game right now, it might be your game later. So, just wait. And always be able to try new things. If you're not the person that used to like playing a multiplayer, this game already isn't focused. Like, yeah, it's a multiplayer game, but it's still a solo game. Yeah, you can go off on your own, and yeah, there will be people still there, but if you think of NPCs in normal games like players, then there's really no difference. Especially if you're a role player. It'll just be, in fact, the players will offer better roleplay experience. And one thing that I will actually say that made me angry and kind of disappointed me is people saying this isn't a roleplay game. Well, I guess, yeah, there are two different types of roleplay games, but they're assuming that because there are no NPCs and choices, that there's no chance of ever roleplaying in this game. They forget that just because there were NPCs in Fallout 4 does not mean it was a roleplay game. Roleplay is about choices. The choices you make and the character you build. Now, do you have to have NPCs to make said choices? No, you do not. Does having them there increase your choices? Actually, not really. In fact, having NPCs limits your choices for your roleplay, because anything they say automatically limits what your character can be and can't be. Like, let's say he says, something about, like, let's say he remembers you. Or you reply to him saying something like, oh, yeah, I used to be a Marine. What if your character that you made, you didn't want him to be a Marine? Then you're kind of limited. Already, it kind of forces you out of your thoughts. Like, I didn't want him to be a Marine. I wanted him to be a doctor. Or a zookeeper. You know? The character you play will be always limited by what your character replies with in game. And if they leave it too open, then it's very empty. And so the game that they've created is they're actually increasing the roleplay ability of it by making it to where you have 100% choice. The character you make is the character you play, and he can have any backstory you want. And you can play him however you want. You aren't limited by the choices anymore of whatever the NPCs or your character says he is. But yeah, you're probably meaning the other, like, RPG, like the other kind of term it can mean, like a game where you just have choices, and often like you talk to NPC, like moral choices. And how many games are like that nowadays? And what necessarily is that? And can't you still have that with a player? Like, what if a player asks you for help? They want to help on this mission. You still have that choice. Like, do I help this person? If I say no, they probably won't be able to make it through this mission. There are still choices like that in this world, but with real people that can actually respond to you and offer an argument as to why you should. NPCs can't actively argue with you. They can't respond to your questions. Well, I mean, unless it's programmed in. You know? But I am getting very off topic. And I just wanted to say that... Actually, I got very, very off topic. I meant to just say my impressions. Well, you got a little bit extra. My impressions, the game looked beautiful. The scenery, the landscape, and amazing. It's going to be fun to explore all that. In fact, because of the no NPCs thing, I believe they actually had more time to put more love into the landscape and to actually fit more in there. And plus, this is good exercise for their creative muscles on making landscape storytelling to make that better. And so as they add more updates, they'll get better too. So any bugs and things you find wrong with it, it's not really a problem. Anything... Oh, of course, I still can't convince people that really don't like the game to buy it, because if they're really stuck in their ways, then there's nothing I can say or do to actually get you to change your mind. But what I can ask you, try it out. Play it. I bet they have some sort of refund system. Buy the game, try it out, and if you don't find yourself actually enjoying it, like being pleasantly surprised, then yeah, okay. Get a refund on the game, and find another game. But try something before you totally shut it out. Because if worst comes to worst, you wasted a little bit of your time playing a game you could have liked. And if you happen to do like it, then you just discovered something new about yourself. That you like this game. So, I'm going to end this here. That is my opinion, my impressions. It looked amazing, and I am super excited. I ain't going to show any kind of gameplay. This was a short little message I wanted to get out there. And you can see all the other people's gameplays. People like Mr. Matty Plays, Lone Vault Wanderer, Ghost Robo, people like that, they have gameplay on their channel. Oh, Oxhorn as well. He has good lore videos, which I actually really like. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay positive. See ya.